Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has created a new group. It targets bias and indoctrination in the public schools. One member of that group, Dr. Terry Stoops, he is the director of the Center for Effective Education at the John Locke Foundation. And Terry, tell us about this new group. What's it supposed to do?
Well, the new group really has two parts to its mission. The first is simply to collect data, to find out what parents are seeing when their children bring home homework or work online with their teacher, and find instances where the beliefs of the families are not being respected in the classroom. So once that data is collected, and then the group will perhaps make recommendations on policy changes that could happen at the state level. I think one notable thing about the group is that it not only includes Mark Robinson, who is, in addition to being lieutenant governor, also sits on the State Board of Education, but two lawmakers. And that really, to me, signals that the meaning and the thrust of this group is to look at the way statewide policy can be attentive to the needs of families, especially when they feel like diverse perspectives are not being respected.
The name of the group is Fairness and Accountability in the Classroom for Teachers and Students, or FACTS Task Force. It sounds as if this group is designed in some ways to respond to concerns that Lieutenant Governor Robinson and others have heard from parents and maybe even some teachers about the types of things that are in schools that a lot of people don't know about.
That's right, and they may have heard some of the instances in the media that really come to mind when we talk about bias in the classroom. One instance the lieutenant governor talked about himself is that a young girl was not allowed to do a Black History Month assignment on the lieutenant governor, presumably because of his political party, his political affiliation, and so the student instead was assigned Tupac Shakur. So you have instances like that, but you also think about the instance of Dina Bardis, the Wake County parent whose son was in a 10th grade English class and was asked very personal details about her son, and was expected to talk about them and to talk about them in the perspective of white privilege. Dina really had no alternative but to go online and to alert the mainstream media that there was a problem with the assignments that her student or her child was receiving in his Wake County Schools classroom. This group really is designed to try to address that need, that parent that can't find any other outlet to discuss their concerns. Now there's a way for them to do so, and to not only discuss their concerns, but bring it to the attention of one of the chief elected officers of the state.
You have been monitoring North Carolina's public schools for years. And I know just from reading your work that you have seen a number of anecdotes of stories like this. How will it be helpful to have a group that puts all of these anecdotes together and doesn't just have them crop up every once in a while on someone's blog or a Facebook post?
Well, the great thing about this group is the experience that they bring to the table. We have school board members, individuals that were in the classroom or represent teachers and in organizations, policy individuals like me, lawmakers. And so the breadth of experience that's present in that room with all the individuals that were appointed to this task force really can speak to the different aspects of the classroom experience for children and families, and really bring their experience to the table to determine whether these problems that students and teachers and parents identify are serious threats to the operation of the classroom or the delivery of instruction. So that's I think the strongest part of this group is just the different experiences that everyone is bringing to the table, and our ability to be able to examine curriculum and instances of indoctrination through different lenses.
Sometimes a task force or a blue ribbon commission can get together, put together a list, put together a report, and then it gets to a shelf and gathers dust. Do you think this group is going to do more than just create another report that doesn't do anything?
Anyone that's ever met the Lieutenant Governor knows that he will not allow that to happen. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is a man of action, and I don't see him being satisfied with a group just churning out reports or white papers or any sort of thing that would lay dormant and not lead to action that will improve the instruction that the children are receiving in public schools. And I think at its core, that's really what this group is about, is improving instruction, improving the instructional environment for children. And so with his position on the State Board of Education, with lawmakers present, I think that we have the ability to be a catalyst for change on the state level and hopefully an inspiration to teachers on the local level to keep their politics out of the classroom and to make sure that their sole focus is improving instruction for children and raising student achievement.
The group, once again, is called the Fairness and Accountability in the Classroom for Teachers and Students Task Force. And if you're wondering, that acronym is FACTS. One of its members, Dr. Terry Stoops, director of the Center for Effective Education at the John Locke Foundation. Thanks so much, Terry.
Thank you.